Oops, I gotta do pre-show. Boop, boop. There we go.
Yay.
Let's promote this thing going live. This guy. Head over to the Discord.
Fuck is theater mode?
For what?
Ooh. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. For Twitch.
Oh, yeah. Alright, we're live on Twitch, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Mixer here in a second, apparently.
Now I can get involved in the chat without needing to actually, you know...
Oh, hello! That's us!
Yes, it is.
Where else do I need to promote? Oh, yeah, Twitter. Now the tweet deck changed and I cannot retweet stuff to multiple accounts at the same time, which is garbage. Hey there, T-Bomb Rocks. Alright, so we were talking beforehand about the challenges in Binding of Isaac you have left. Have you done all of the first 20?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I did all of the first 20 and then got super fucking pissed because I was like, yes, this is an achievement. And it didn't pop. I was like, why didn't it pop? And the reason it doesn't pop is because it does. Even though the description says 20 challenges, what it means is all of the challenges.
Oh, after the update.
With the DLC, it's 30 now.
Alright, so do you still have XL?
I finished XXXXXXXXXL.
Oh yeah, because you got Gold Heart.
Yes.
Speed, of course, is probably still outstanding.
Speed can go fuck itself.
Son of a bitch. Blue Bomber, yeah, you did because you got Gold Bomb.
Yep.
You did Pay to Play because you got 2 new pills.
Yep. Wait, that's not Pay to Play, that's Have a Heart.
No, both of them give you 2 new pills.
Oh, okay. So I haven't done Pay to Play,
Sorry,
but I have done.
I got confused there. What are the new pills that? I won't spoil it for you, but I'm gonna look up what Pay to Play gives you for new pills. Pay to Play, Pay to Play, Pay to Play. That one and that one. Okay. Doesn't really matter. You just did Have a Heart. I Rule.
Nope, haven't done that. That's the Zelda one.
Oh, yeah, because it sounds like Hyrule.
Yep. It's got the Spear of Destiny, the Shield. Can't remember what that's called. Yes.
Mom's Knife, the Ladder. Not sure if you did Brains, right?
No, I don't think I've done Brains yet.
Haven't done Pride Day. And then Onan Streak and the Guardian. Man, the fucking Guardian. I don't think Onan Streak is nearly that bad compared to the Guardian.
I don't even know what the Guardian is. I think I might have took one shot at it and then bounced off it and thought, no, I'll do this later.
You start with Holy Grail, Spear of Destiny, Punching Bag, and Isaac's Heart. But
whoa. Go on.
You do not have Isaac's Heart attached to you. Punching Bag does.
Are you fucking serious?
The thing that that has continued to frustrate the community is Punching Bag is dumb. That's a dumb... Like, the AI for that item is dumb, and a lot of times you have to race through the game, because if you're in a room with spikes, Punching Bag's just going to walk on those spikes.
Oh, Jesus. So it's like a mini speed.
Basically, yeah. It's so hard. And you go to Mom's Heart, of course.
Yeah. Because the room isn't bad enough as it is.
Yeah.
See, look, I'm getting involved with chat.
Hey! Yeah, T-Bomb, we talked about what would be 443. T-Bomb R43. And it was basically, I think we mentioned that I like Northern Lion. You can check out my old videos at bostonhannon.com. I think I put up like 145 Isaac videos, I think it was. I was doing it daily for a while.
Yeah, back when I didn't have a job, I was starting to do that.
I'd love to do it again. I have so much fun just playing Isaac. Like, I've been playing it since it came out on PS4 or Rebirth. which is, God, 5 years ago now? Nearly daily for 5 years?
Yeah. I do apologize for anyone listening to the outcast for whatever white random boom 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 noise you might have heard from my microphone right then. I was getting it in a better position.
That's the wonder and the majesty of Outcast is you get to hear
the behind the scenes.
Yeah, before the episode, before we sort of put our hands away.
Yeah. Oh, so you're gonna love this. I probably should have mentioned this before the actual stream proper on our business section. Secret Project Part 1 was completed.
Nice.
Secret Project Part 2 was completed, which is, you know, the two sections of the project.
Yeah.
Part 2 was lost.
Welcome to podcasting.
Yep. So I
damn.
need to redo Secret Project Part 2. It's just been a rough, like we did, as little as possible I'm saying here.
Yeah.
It was done last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, this is great. I can get it all done. I can do what I need to do, and then see how it slots in.
Right.
And then this week just felt shit. So we're gonna redo Part 2.
Right, the second half of it.
Yeah, hopefully over this week.
Can I make a suggestion for a backup recording?
Yeah.
Download OBS Studio and just have it record a video locally. You can always extract the audio from that video and use that. So you'll sort of have your primary good sounding recording, and then you'll have your backup, probably okay sounding recording.
Yes.
T-Bomb rocks. I question my 9-year-old really wants to learn. Anyone you recommend for super beginner or same as what you did for me? That's a great question. Northern Lion's latest videos don't have any swearing in them, but he's sort of so deep into it.
I wouldn't worry too much about language based on T.
Okay.
Love you, T.
I'm trying to think. I wish there was there's a really good YouTube channel that shows you what each item does, but I almost feel like that's not maybe what you're looking for. I really wish I was I really wish I had the time to live stream again, because I would just love to play a lot more Isaac. The thing about Isaac is I feel like
it's episode 2 of Scrubs. It's learn by doing, man.
Yeah, like I feel like learn by doing, but what my suggestion was also going to be is like maybe just have your kid keep a notebook. With like what the cool items are, what items are to avoid. I don't know, it's like I'm sort of remembering my childhood where I'm like drawing the dungeon maps of the first Legend of Zelda in a notebook I had, like that might be the closest similarity to that, and it might be a hard notebook to explain if someone else saw it, like, yeah, I killed Mom 8 times. It's just like, I'm sorry?
That's the type of thing you'd burn after reading.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're in the pre-show.
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about the stupidest fucking thing I've ever purchased in my life ever?
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so I'm not the type of person who goes out and spends big bucks on stuff at all. If I can get my phone is a $30 phone.
Right.
If I wanted to, I could go out and get a $200 phone that would probably suit me a lot better and allow me to install more games. I don't care. It's functional. It will do me. With some exceptions, the Xbox X, my new TV.
Treat yourself a little bit for stuff you spend the most time on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 cats, and T-Bomb just mentions in chat right quick. Yeah, it's meant to be a bonding experience. That would work really well.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Doing the notebook method would let you sit there and you can pause it. You can talk about it while it's paused, and that kind of thing. So that's actually really good. But yeah, I don't spend big money on stuff. I am not the type of person who does it. So I also hate getting things on credit. I despise it. If I want something, I save up and I buy it with money that I have earned already. I did it with my PC. I did it with my Xbox. I did it with my TV. I don't get stuff on credit, and that's not meant to be a slur on people who do. It's just I watched my various people I know fall down that hole and never be able to dig themselves out. So I'm always super cautious about it. But the problem with that is I don't have a credit score.
Oh, right.
Because A, I've moved countries, and B, over here, there's a lot of stuff that's done on credit. So if I want to get a car, if I want to buy a house, I need a credit score.
Right.
So I thought to myself, what's something I need to buy, or I can buy, that's expensive enough for me to be able to get it on credit, but cheap enough to be able to turn around and say, okay, I'm done. This has improved my credit score enough.
Right.
Or,
and like pay it right off.
Yeah, or if I lose my job, I can just go, bump, here's the money. Here's the rest of the money, we're done, kind of thing. So I thought, well, I like the Rooster Teeth podcast, and I'm not the biggest fan of Gavin Free of said podcast, mostly because of the way he represents British people. Because there's a fair, like, you see people like Jim Sterling and Gavin have characters that they portray online, kind of what Dan does. Right. Except Jim, I feel, is a good fighter for good causes. So he's a good example of an English person to a majority American audience. Gavin isn't. Gavin is Gavin. He's fine. He's his own person. He can be how he wants to be. I got no beef with the guy at all. He talked a long time ago about buying the most expensive self-cleaning litter box he has ever existed.
Okay. I feel like this might be the litter box that we bought.
If it is, is it the best litter box you've ever bought in your life?
It is. It's the one that looks like the cats are training to be an astronaut.
Yep.
They like climb in front and it spins.
Yep.
It's really great.
The one. It's the best thing I've ever bought and the stupidest thing I've ever bought.
Yep.
We're still in the process of training Louise to get used to it because she's terrified of it.
It's like we had another one that was flat and had like these tines that would scrape, and of course
the tines get gunky, everything gets gunky. No, like you gotta take it apart every
these cats burnt the motor out because they both have to have special food because the one has bladder problems. So like they go to the bathroom a lot, and it just burnt it out. And that one was loud, like twice as loud as this thing.
We had a self-cleaning one, but it was one of those tiny reeky ones.
Yep. It's like a fax machine. If you're
in bed, you can hear it from downstairs. It's like an old dial-up modem kicking up. It's
like
so
one of those
loud.
dot matrix printers.
T-Bone Rocks in chat says, which one? It's the Litter Robot 2. I think I got the 3.0 one, so I got the newest version of it.
Made by Littermate, I think.
Who knows?
I'll look it up.
But it's ridiculous how cool this thing is. Number one, you get the box for it, and I'll actually...
Yeah, litter-robot.com.
That's the size of the box.
Oh, you got the one with the phone app?
We didn't get the one with the phone app. We got the one below that, which is the same size. It just doesn't have the phone app.
Okay, yeah, that's the one we have. We don't have the one with the phone app because I probably don't need to stalk my cat's poop that much.
Yes, exactly. So we got that, and it's sitting in the living room, and Louise is terrified of it because she's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, and it's pretty big.
It is, and she doesn't like being in enclosed spaces because she was the stray that we picked up.
Right.
She was already 4 years old when she was a stray, so she does not like small boxes. But Sherlock has taken to it like a champ, and he's just like, oh, big, massive private box for me to go poop in. Great. So,
it's a dream.
When I first saw it, I was thinking, how good can this be? How much better than other litter boxes can this possibly be?
Right.
So much better.
It's so much better.
I was curious, like, how does this thing operate? Like, and the first time as soon as I got it, I put it in, plugged it in, got it all set up, and then hit the button on it just to see how it operates.
Hit the cycle button.
Yes.
Yep.
And watched it go, and it's so incredible, like the way it spins around.
See you, T-Bomb Rocks. Thanks for listening.
Spins around, empties it into like a safety net for the clean stuff.
Yeah.
Drops the dirty stuff into the thing at the bottom, and then spins it back around, and then levels itself out again. It's so cool.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
We still have. We're actually looking to buy a second one because since we have 2 floors and both cats go to the bathroom a lot, we sort of need like a box on each floor. But I'm trying to get rid of one of the other box that's on the floor that's just like a standard one, because like they'll use both of them, and it's always like, look, this automatic one's doing a great job, and I still have to scoop this other one, and that sucks.
The good thing for us is we have in our second one, which is our upstairs one, we have one where you just literally lift her out and give it a little shake, and
like you're panning for gold.
Exactly. Except in this case, it's panning for cat shit.
Yeah. Hey, Dimebag.
So that works out pretty well. Hey, Dime. But the litter robot is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so great.
Good.
And for someone like who, it's one of those things where the way Gavin described it, and I can understand where he's coming from. It's like you spend money to give you more free time.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And it's like, how much time was this taking up? And it wasn't taking up a lot of time to empty both litter boxes and get it all clean and get it all organized. It wasn't taking up time, but when I've done a 12-hour shift, I don't want to come home and clean litter boxes.
You don't want to scoop a bunch of cat shit, like,
exactly.
Or sit on your damn couch. Well, like, what I really love is I know they sell, like, special bags that go in there. I just put a trash bag in the collection tray. So, like, you just pull the bag out, you seal it up, you throw it out, and you put a new bag in there. It's like a 2-minute thing.
Oh, that's actually kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, and, I mean, you already have trash bags, so, like, I just tried to put it in there one day, and I was like, oh, that actually fits. And you just, like, pull it by the drawstrings, tie it, and toss it out.
Oh, that's so cool. But yeah, this thing is... Oh, it's so dumb, and I can't believe I spent $450 on a litter box. But at the same time, it's really cool.
But now Sherlock can do his astronaut training.
We just need movies to do it now.
Every time someone comes in the house that hasn't seen it, they look over and they go, "The hell is that thing?" It's like, "Oh, it's an automatic cat box," and they go, "Okay." It's like, sure, whatever.
Oh, speaking of which, I said her name, and she has awoken.
Uh-oh, the beast stirs.
Come on, you can jump up.
The cat with the kitten face.
Yep.
So cute. Look at that. Yeah. It's like deer in the headlights look.
Yeah, she doesn't like getting picked up like that. Go on. Okay, it's okay.
There you go.
She hates being exposed. I know. That's my face.
She has to sign a waiver before she can be on the live stream.
Oh, her waiver was her just jumping go.
Oh, there you go. It's gonna make out with your beard. Don't mind me.
Well, it doesn't help that I've had a shower and a shave this morning as well, so she needs to get Louise stink all over me again.
Oh yeah, just gotta claim you.
Always the same.
If anyone's watching on Mixer, I'm sorry. For some reason, my chat software is not connecting.
Boo.
Sorry. I'll try and keep an eye on it for if anyone decides not to totally troll. Like this person that just wrote cheese biscuits.
That's okay.
Cool. Thank you. Glad you got that out into the world. I want to tell them about my favorite thing. Cheese biscuits. Just gonna hang out.
She is just super cuddly, and if I don't move her, she will stay like this for a long time.
Just fall asleep. That's a tough
I think
life,
she's actually asleep already.
What? No, I'm good. What? She has great markings. Our cat Tybalt has similar markings, but he doesn't have the white paws.
Yeah, I mean, it actually makes me laugh because when it came to picking her, I was actually still over in England, and Jess went to the adoption centre. I was like, "Look, I'm getting a second cat. Here's a photo of 2 cats. Which one?" And I actually picked her because she looks a lot like my cat in England, Apollo.
Oh, yeah.
And it just turns out that she happened to be the perfect cat for me. Like, she's the super duper cuddly one. She'll follow me around. If if she, like, let's say she falls asleep on the couch over night time, before we go to bed, if she's asleep and we leave, if I get off the couch, go to bed, when she wakes up, she wanders around downstairs meowing because she doesn't know where we've
Trying to
vanished
find you.
Hello.
Dimebag asks, do you guys like grumpy cats? So
Yeah.
I kind of like ugly cats. I really like quote-unquote broken cats. Like if they're missing an ear or like one of their legs or like especially if they're missing an eye. Like that's the cutest shit, man.
It's actually funny because Sherlock, our other cat, the one who's not in here right now, he's a grumpy cat. He is 100% that breed. He's got that face. He's got that look.
Yep.
Like
that
that
resting
is him.
bitch face look.
Well, she's got a resting bitch face as well, but he is 100% grumpy cat. Like he's just got that exact same face.
Yep.
To the point where if you compare a photo of him and Grumpy Cat, like Grumpy Cat just looks a little bit more grumpy.
Right.
You can't stay here all day.
Yeah, when we went to go, I've been thinking about this a lot because we're sort of running out of options to keep Scuttle from continuing to lose weight, which will be a hard decision at some point in the near future. When we went to go get him, we told the Humane Society, we're like, look, start me with your most unadoptable cat, and let's work backwards. Like, don't show me kittens. Don't show me, like, the super cute cat that, like, everybody wants. I want, like, the cat that's been through a war and is, like, missing a bunch of parts and it's just angry. Show me that cat. Like, I want that one.
Well, it's like her. She was the same. She's 4 years old and no one was interested in her. Like, nobody at all cared. That's why we ended up going with her.
Yeah, because people always, people always think that they want kittens. It's like, man, for like 3 years, they're a lot of work. And then they finally like get fat and settle down. But I'd rather get a cat that's like 10. I just want a chill cat. Like, you want to hang out with me on the recliner while I'm playing something for a couple hours? Like that happens anymore. Yeah, that's this cat. Dimebag says, if I weren't allergic to cats, I would get a Munchkin cat. I keep meaning to look up if Munchkin cats are a naturally occurring breed or if they were crossbred.
Do you want to get down? Do you want to go back to your seat?
No, I'm good.
Come on.
I want to start purring real loud, meowing when you start recording.
Oh, she's already in the pairing stage. Aren't you?
That face.
She can't help it.
Hear it a little bit.
Okay, go on. No, don't hold on. Don't hold on. You're like a child. Let go.
No, don't hold me down.
Let go.
I can't go. Oh, weird. I'm stuck. I guess I'll have to stay here.
Go on. Thank you for your company. Go back to your seat.
Oh, man. I love cats.
Me too. She's probably just going to sit here and meow later.
Probably.
As soon as she starts meowing, she's getting kicked out.
It's a little flavor for the show. Alright, looks like we got a good number of people here. Are you ready to start this thing?
Yup.
Alright, let's get started here and let's remove the words pre-show. Boop, boop.
Damn it, I was going to type it into the chat.
You being in Twitch chat is going to kill us now. Alright, let's start this in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and trolling me in Twitch chat is Moonpeer.
Hello.
4 announcements here at the beginning, so strap yourselves in for probably like a minute and a half of business stuff.
The timing on that is perfect, really quick. She's trying to get out, so I'm just going to go let Louise out.
Okay.
Make the announcements.
There's a couple new shows that are returning. One of them is TVGP's Outcasts. If you're a listener, I think I had this 7 or 8 years ago. Basically, if you're a patron of the show at the $2 or higher level, basically, when you listen to a proper episode of TVGP, you know, we cut out all the in-between episode bits. Outcast is the opposite of that, the inverse. Basically, we cut out the proper episode, and it's just all the uncensored, you know, pre-show, post-show, actually stuff before we go live on live streaming, the stuff we talk about in the middle, all that stuff sort of smushed together, and I faded in and out a little bit, so if you want to like bounce between the two, you can if you really want. So $2 patrons, Outcast is back. Go check that out. Is a patron exclusive. Patreon gives you a personalized RSS feed that you can feed into whatever podcatcher you want, and it'll just show up every week alongside the other episode.
This week's one talks about litter boxes, and Isaac.
Yes, you know, the normal stuff. The return of Dynamic Soundtrack. Season 2 is here, 2 months early for patrons at the $5 or higher level. If you're a patron at that level or higher, it is in your RSS feed right now. If you're not, the episode 0 is on dynamicsoundtrack.com or on Patreon that's a free one. It's episode 1 is out now for patrons. If you decide not to be a patron, I understand that, you know, it's money up per month. The season will start premiering in May 1st. So it's a monthly show now, comes out the 1st of every month. Instead of it being every other week, now each episode is way longer. So,
way too long.
Because I had a problem. So
yes, you have no self-control.
That will be 14 episodes in season 2. And then hopefully by the time that's over, I will have season 3 ready to go. But I know me. Persona 5. Myself and the rest of the Picking Up the Pixels RPG crew did a spoiler cast for Persona 5. All 3 of us had finished it. That will be out in the feeds on probably Tuesday of this week. It's a little bit over an hour long because we sort of ran out of time, but I feel like we hit the high points. So it's been a long time coming, but Persona 5 is still great, and we had a good fun time talking about that. And last but not least, Game Club voting for patrons. It is the other month. It's every other month. There's 3 games you can choose from now in your Patreon feed. It is available for all patrons at the $1 or higher level. Go choose what game we're going to pick. All 3 of them sound like winners. But if you're a patron, go check it out. You have about a week and change to choose our game. All right, well, that's all of our business here. All that's done. Sure? Let's get into the good stuff. Moonpier, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, I'm gonna bookend mine here.
Okay.
Start with the talk. Yeah, let's start with the talky one, where we both get to talk, and then I'm gonna let you start with a different talky one.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping you'll start with a different talky one. Okay, first of all, West of Loathing, Game Club game. So I think you posted on Twitter, and I think it succinctly sums up what I have failed to say. This game is incredible. The gameplay is good. The graphics are okay. It's a stick figure game, so that's fine. It has a charm to that art style.
It plays a lot with it in fun ways.
Yeah, but for me, the best thing about this game is the writing, the storytelling.
Yep.
Those aspects of it are just absolutely incredible.
I mean, we'll talk about it on Game Club in greater detail, but I think the problem that so many games try to do... So what I wrote on Twitter is like, I'm at the very end of the game, but I accidentally got there way too early, so I'm pretty underleveled, because it's... How I explained it to my wife is it is a stick figure Wild West RPG.
Yep.
So I'm a little early, and my thought was like, oh, well, now I need to go hunt down all this other content I haven't really done. And my thought was like, oh, no, I have to enjoy more great game. Oh, bummer.
Yep.
I think the problem or the mistake that so many games try to make when they try to be funny is they try to be funny instead of trying to be clever. And West of Loathing is clever.
Yeah, a lot of these things as well, they try to be meme funny, where it's like, this is funny on the internet right now, let's make a joke about it.
Right.
And then 2 months before the game has even come out, that is old.
Yeah.
You know, too many games have tried to hook onto this internet culture and humor when it's just be funny and witty in your own way rather than trying to cling on to this notion of the internet humor.
Yeah.
Which is like, this game nails that, like, that aspect of it so well. The clever and witty writing, just at the start of the game, giving you the Rubik's Cube puzzle to your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And like just the witty backwards and forwards between the two of you, because you want to be like a cow rancher and a sheriff kind of thing, and he wants to be a mathematician.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so much stuff that like goes on and on throughout the course of the game that they pay off on. I'm not going to go into it in detail here, but I've actually written down the bedpan/spittoon discussion is probably one of the funniest things I've ever read in video games.
The way I can summarize it without getting too deep into it, because we will on Game Club, I'm sure, is basically when you run across the game's very first spittoon, you get the option of ignoring it or sort of diving on in to see if there's anything in there. And the game sort of talks to you. I don't know, it's almost like a third person,
like a narrator kind of thing.
Yeah. Not really like a god narrator, but just sort of like the game talking to you and saying like, "Hey man, look, come on, you can't.
This is
you
gross.
Can't do that. It's you know what's in there. I know what's in there. That's no good." And you can keep pushing it for like 7 or 8 things, and the game's just like, I mean, if you want to, I'm not gonna stop you, but for real, like I'm gonna keep explaining in grosser and grosser detail about what's in there.
Yep, and it's so great. I think the one I've made a note of specifically is the third one, which is the one inside of a house at the bottom of a bed. Mm-hmm. And then it not only goes into gross detail on the spittoon side of things, it also says, just so you know, it may say spit on it, but this could be a bedpan based on where it's located. Right. It's so gross. Like the description that they've given for what could be in this thing is horrendously disgusting.
Did you?
And then go ahead.
Oh, did you open up the one at the Jelly Bean house?
I don't think I've been there yet.
All right. You need to do that one for sure. Not only does it give you a good benefit, but it's also one of the funnier ones. Okay. Until the very last one. That's probably the funniest one.
Yeah, the writing in this game it's magnificent. And something I figured out as well is I can play the game with my Xbox controller. Oh,
I didn't know that.
It's not fully controller compatible, but the way I bought it on Steam, so the way it's Steam set up is it fakes as best as it can a mouse and keyboard with the controller. So my right stick is my mouse, right trigger is a normal click. Mm-hmm. So I can actually just sit there and play it with my controller if I so choose to. So it's actually kind of cool. But yeah, West of Loathing, we've got 2 weeks of Game Club, and I'm actually looking forward to how much more I've got to play, because I haven't even crossed the mountains yet.
Oh wow, yeah, I'm all the way at the end at Frisco. So basically what happened is I played in like 2 half-hour chunks, just saying like, all right, let me get through the beginning of this, let me get sort of settled in, and then I basically accidentally played in a 4-hour chunk. Like everybody went to bed and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do like my normal sort of training that I've been doing to sort of eventually re-enter the workforce.
Accidentally.
Well, it was accidental because like on the one monitor I had Giant Bomb TV going.
Okay. And how is that, by the way?
It's actually really good. So take a quick detour. It's basically what I did before with E1M1 FM, which was I just randomized everything we had, but people get to vote 5 minutes before a video ends, so on the next video they want to see out of like a random selection. It's pretty cool. They said they're going to open it up once the beta testing is over to everybody, so that'll be great. And on the main monitor, there's no voice acting in it at all, and there's like 2 soundtrack songs. Mm-hmm. So I sort of turned the volume way down on the game, and that's how I played until like 11:30 at night. basically.
Yeah.
Like in a 4-hour session where I'm like, I am so tired. Like, what time is... Oh, it's 11:30. Cool. I've been playing for 4 hours accidentally. Because it does that thing where, like, you're wandering to somewhere, and it'll say, hey, you discovered something else. You want to go there first? And it's like, well, sure. It gives you that Fallout problem.
Yep. I realized I did mess something up, though. I was in... The game is full of moments. Like, I think it's something we've discussed before, like how good a moment in a video game can be and how hard it is to get a bunch of them in one. That's kind of why I loved Wolf 2. But some things that stand out to this is the bandits in the hat factory. I absolutely loved.
That's a great puzzle.
In the same region of the map, there is the... I'm assuming the ghost girl that killed everybody. Because I found her photo and then her ghost appeared and demanded I give it to her. And then when I went to the local jail, there is a ghostly cell. So I'm assuming I messed up the chance to arrest her and put her in the cell because I gave her the photo back.
Yeah.
So I think I might have messed that one up. And based on the arcane incantations that are in her basement in her house that has been burnt down, and the devil cow you have to kill.
Right.
Definitely something going on in that household. And I'm kind of bummed I didn't get to put the ghost in jail.
Yeah. I think the last thing I want to say about West of Loathing before we sort of tread on Game Club is I'm sort of happy West of Loathing is probably going to be like a 6 to 8 hour game, because I think West of Loathing is one of those games that I would sort of want to play every year and say, like, all right, this time I'm going to go high magic and I'm going to see what crazy stuff, and instead of making this choice in this quest line, I'm going to go try and do this thing this time and see. So many times when you go do a mission or fight an enemy or something, you genuinely have 3 or 4 things you can do, like use your strength or your magic or your moxie. Or,
I was going to say, I think you'll find it's called Mysticality and Moxie.
Yes, Mysticality. You just have so much cool stuff you can do where it's like, okay, cool, I bet I could do X, Y, and Z differently if I just created, one of the magic characters next time and did this other thing. It's so cool. And it's only like a $10 game, and I'll probably have about 6 or 7 hours in it when I'm done with it, and it's been a great ride the whole time. I don't think I have really any complaints so far, except for some minor ones. My one complaint was going to be it's a simple game. Why isn't it controller compatible? But the fact that Steam can kind of not fully replicate, but kind of get by on the controller options and stuff.
Yeah, and it lets me play it with the controller, which is how I feel more comfortable. So great. My one complaint is solved. We expect a full deep dive into West of Loathing when Game Club rolls around.
Yeah.
Second game for me this week, Orbitalis.
Okay.
Would you like me to spell that for you?
I'm sorry. I'm assuming it's Orbit, ALIS.
Perfect. Yeah. I think this might be a VR game, based on the presentation, because when I play it, it just puts it like like my monitor gets sliced into the middle of it, like you're playing a phone video on landscape when it's supposed, or in portrait when.
Weird. Or like an old arcade shmup where the monitor was vertical. Yes,
something like that. But I'm not too sure if it is a VR game or if it's just the way it's set up. Yeah, it could be either or. If it's a VR game, though, I actually wouldn't mind seeing it in VR. But essentially, it's a point-and-click gravity well puzzler.
Oh, cool.
Where you get given like a star and you have to fire something, I'm assuming like a probe or something, and get it to rotate around a star and asteroids and a bunch of other stuff, and survive a certain amount of time. And as soon as you fire it, like a circle will start filling up around the edge of the screen, and you've got to have it survive without impacting with anything long enough to fill up the circle.
That's cool.
And it's really cool idea. It's really well done. It's a dead simple. You click it, you watch the path it goes, and then if it hits the star or if it hits anything else, it crashes and then you have to refire the thing again.
Right.
So it's like Trials or anything like Super Meat Boy, where it's instant restart, go back to the way the level was.
Change your trajectory and everything.
Exactly, and you can change speed, angle, all that kind of stuff. First level's dead simple. It's fire it around a star and just make sure the orbit doesn't cause it to crash into the star after elongating. Thank you, Elite Dangerous, for these kind of lessons.
Right.
Also probably good for Kerbal Space Program.
Probably, yeah.
After that, it gets real complicated real quick, because all of a sudden you're trying to orbit an asteroid that's flying through space while avoiding other asteroids that are coming down.
Oh, jeez.
And their gravity will pull yours out of sync, so you have to try and nail it perfectly.
Oh, wow.
To get this thing, your probe or whatever, to just go in all these orbits and survive the length of time it needs to. It's actually really, really fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if it's meant to be in VR, just on the way it produces itself on my monitor. If you ever watched Patrick Klepek's videos on Giant Bomb when he was doing the spooky games, the way that video was seen by us as non-VR viewers is kind of how it is presented on my screen.
Right.
So probably a VR game. I haven't had VR.
It's Orbitalis with a 0 at the beginning.
I did not know it was a 0.
Okay.
That would explain why it's top of my list, you idiot.
That's how they get you.
Why is it an O game at the top of my list? I'm going to talk alphabetically.
Actually, I'm watching the trailer here on the Steam page. This is a really cool presentation, because it actually looks like a CRT monitor, almost like you're in the 50s and you're launching probes out into space.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I might have to... Ooh, there's a level editor update. Oh, man. It's...
yeah, there is. And it's got Steam Clouds.
$15.
Steam Workshop support it has as well, just to make your life more fun.
Yeah, $15 for it and the DLC, or $10 by itself. That's a cool looking game. That's cool.
The style on it is fantastic as well. I do believe I need to thank Mackie for that game.
Nice. Thank you, Mackie.
Yep. Okay, what's next? Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Hey,
guess what? All the talk of Assassin's Creed made me want to play an Assassin's Creed game.
And Rogue is just too far away.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the 360 version when they've pretty much already confirmed as a way.
That thing's already in a closet.
Yeah. So, I'm playing the Xbox One version of this. The re-release they did for the One. The game doesn't look great.
Yeah, it's
a
launch game.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit dated, but I'm not going to hold that against it, considering I've just finished playing what is probably one of the most beautiful games ever in Assassin's Creed Origins.
That's so good looking.
And dude, you didn't even play 4K. I played 4K.
I know, like...
And HDR, it was so incredible.
I keep looking at this 4K HDR TV. There's this really great one. It's for like $600 or $700 from a company called TCL. And it supports...
Hold on. TCL. That's the exact TV I have.
Yeah, you got so basically, apparently this is for like a quarter of the price of all these other companies. You get some of the industry's best HDR10 implementation, which from what I understand is the HDR10 is the one that most things support. It has the Dolby video. It has really solid 4K support for $600 to $700, and I keep drooling out on Amazon you could just come to my house.
I actually stepped down from that one because our living room situation, we have the two TVs next to each other. I was going to get I think it's the 55 TCL S series, which is the smallest of the top end one. Right. I think I ended up going to the biggest of the next one down, so I only paid $400 for mine.
Nice.
And mine's 4K HDR. It's a really good starter TV for getting into the 4K market.
Yeah, I was going to look here. I'm looking at the TCL 607.
That's the one I originally had my eyes on, which means it's the 60-inch one, I believe.
55-inch for this. That's the crazy thing about TVs, where it's is it the 607S? That's the 65-inch, but then without the S is a 55, but this,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I keep drooling over that because I keep thinking like I'm playing all these great games that look like Horizon Zero Dawn and Assassin's Creed Origins, like all these
Forza
really
Horizon.
great 4K. Yeah, Forza Horizon. Well, I don't have an Xbox One X, so.
Oh, that's true.
That's like the next thing.
Honestly, I can't recommend that TV enough. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, I even stepped down. I didn't go for the one I originally had my eyes on. I went for the size below it, which was also, I think, the model before it,
Right,
just
like
because of the size
year
differences
before.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mine looks incredible.
What reminded me of that is they, when I went to Costco to get our like normal Costco stuff, they had a 55-inch HDR TV without the 4K there for like $350. I was just like, if only you had the 4K in there, I would bring you home, and I would just apologize to my wife later.
If it had the 4K in it, there would also be an additional one on the front of it.
I don't know. Costco has such great prices on. Well, it was a TCL brand, so I remember TCL, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah." I'll have to go back to Costco and see. And then I got distracted by laptops because I'm like, I need a new laptop. Look at this tiny 13-inch Dell. I love 13-inch laptops. Oh, it's $1,400. Go to hell.
Yep. Well, yes. Anyway, Black
Flag.
I haven't done too much into it. This week's not been a great week, so very limited time. So I've done the intro to the missions. I've just got the Jackdaw.
That's the ship, right? The Jackdaw?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've just stolen it, and he's just announced that he's calling it the Jackdaw.
Okay.
And I've just gone to the island and brutally murdered iguanas and bobcats for no reason other than I need a bigger wallet.
Yeah, to make a pouch.
Yep. But no, it's an interesting game so far. I've never really played with the boat mechanics other than in Origins, and it's barely in that. So, we'll see how it grabs me.
I feel like it's better in this game because you get to work up from the bottom. Like when you start, you have like one cannon and a bunch of kind of dummies that are helping you sail the boat. But the boat gets bigger, and you get ramming armor, and you get to throw fireballs, and like you get that buildup instead of like, here are the 15 buttons you need to sail the ship. It's like, what has me kill these things the quickest?
Yeah, I'm currently running around the place I can't remember the name of now.
I don't remember any of the towns in that game.
Yep, which you'd think to be easy considering all pirate things take place in the exact same place.
Yep.
But no, I'm headed back to the pirate house because I've just found out that they've discovered that I'm not the real assassin who was gonna... Spoiler alert for the first 5 minutes of Black Flag. You kill an assassin, then pretend to be an assassin.
Right.
Who's actually an assassin who's becoming a Templar and turning his back on the Order. And then you pretend to be an assassin Templar for the Order so you can learn about their treasure so you can go off and be a pirate with your friends.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense in game where it's like, hey, I'm a dude. Hey, I'm an assassin. Wink. Oh, I'm a Templar too? Wink.
Yep.
It's a lot of like, sure, I'm that too. Why not? Does they get me close to the treasure? Yeah. Have you done any of the modern day stuff yet?
The only thing I've done so far in the modern day is be introduced in the tutorial mission, give them a weird tablet thing, sent to my desk, and go and do what you need to do.
Get back into your desk animus and get back to work.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've really done so far. Dan Bag and Chat with the best thing ever.
Oh great, now I'm never going to play AC now, thanks Moon.
You're welcome, Dan.
It's so funny because like the story in the Assassin's Creed series seems so convoluted, but they genuinely present it pretty straightforward. Or if you just want to ignore it and sail the ship, and like Mechanical Beacon Chat says, the sea fights in Black Flag are amazing. Like that's the majority of what I did.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm never going to touch the multiplayer.
No.
The part of the thing that bothers me about the new Xbox updates is it just randomly gives you like updates. Like if you're not on the Xbox for a certain amount of time, it'll pop up this side notification and be like,
I just noticed that the other day.
This friend has just come online. this is your closest achievement in one of your recently played games, and of course, it's for some silly reason it pops up and it's like, in your recent games, this is a rare achievement.
Oh no!
And on it is, get somebody in Black Flag, kill somebody who's trying to use a rope lift that's been booby trapped. And I'm looking at that description. It's got a diamond next to it.
Oh no!
So I'm looking at it thinking, so the booby trap is probably about level 50.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take me about 40 hours to get to level 50 playing multiplayer alone. It's not worth my time.
You're doing the trophy math.
Yeah, I'm doing the trophy math or the achievement math, and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the same approach to this, which I did with Brotherhood, which is I'm going to probably get all the achievements in the single player and just ignore the multiplayer, because
I didn't even do all the achievements in the single player, because some of them were like, you need to hunt down every sea shanty, and they run away from you when you try and hunt them down. Like,
don't diss sea shanties.
No, they're great.
Nobody will shut up about sea shanties.
But like when you go to collect some of them, they run away from you. They like fly away while you're chasing them. I'm not interested in that noise at all.
They did the same thing. I can't remember if it was Unity or Syndicate. It might have been Syndicate with Dickens's books or Dickens's text or something. They did the exact same thing.
The last thing I did is in the corners of the map are 4 like legendary pirate ships that you have to have your boat all the way upgraded for. I took out all 4 of them because they're kind of a cool puzzle about how you need to defeat each one differently. After that, I was like, I think I'm done. I've seen as much of this mountain as I want to. But we're good.
I'm not gonna lie, zooming out on the map and seeing the old Ubisoft map, it's just like, oh no, not again. What have I done?
That's like when I fired up the Crew and I was like, oh right, Ubisoft map. Yikes. Origins was really good. Yeah,
Origins is an absolutely fantastic step forwards.
Yep.
For Ubisoft. Although, speaking of Ubisoft, new Siege content comes out on Tuesday.
Ooh, nice.
My wife will ignore me for 3 days.
That's all right. You're sailing the high seas.
Yes. Honestly, it makes me laugh. For the longest time, I thought of myself as my favorite publisher / developer was probably EA. Because love Dead Space, love Mass Effect, I love FIFA. Yeah, they make mistakes. Yeah, they do stupid things. But EA, for the longest time, would be my personal favorite developer / publisher.
Right.
I think over the past 5-6 years, it's transitioned to Ubisoft, and by quite a margin over everything.
Yeah.
Because they just keep putting out solid games, and when other companies will leave games to die, Ubisoft are like, no, we will not allow this to happen.
Right.
All future DLC for The Division is free. Here's a guide to get you back in, you know?
Right.
Rainbow Six Siege, we don't want to release another one of these. We want to do 10 years worth of content for the same game. Like, you know what? Good on you, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Well, anyway, moving on to my next game as I drop stuff. Let's see. Battle Chef Brigade.
Oh.
Which I didn't know this game was a thing until I think it was a Game of the Year stuff started coming up. Everybody on all the podcast, all the Game of the Year stuff, like this game consistently came up as a should be in there kind of thing. Like it should be in people's lists. It should be on the minds of people for Game of the Year stuff, and I can kind of understand why. Because to be honest, it's kind of awesome. Yeah,
and sort of fortunately and unfortunately, the Moonpure already answered my question. Maximus Prime asked when the Rainbow Six Xbox One X update is dropping, and I didn't think they put a date on it, but probably Tuesday.
No, I think there's rumors abound that it's coming with the new content, which I believe drops on Tuesday.
Oh, that'd be smart. I think the thing about Battle Chef Brigade is because of the animation, it doesn't look like a real game. It looks like it is published by Adult Swim, but it looks like if Adult Swim made a show about a fake video game where you do this stuff, they would make Battle Chef Brigade the animation.
Yeah, and this, like, I mean, for those who don't know, for the people listening who weren't listening when Game of the Year stuff came about, I have tried to write down in one sentence the type of game this is.
Oh God! Okay, good luck.
Here we go. Let's see if I get this right. It's a match 3 side-scrolling beat 'em up with an Iron Chef twist.
Yes, that is 100% accurate.
Which, when you listen to that sentence, it sounds bonkers.
Yeah.
Because the game is bonkers.
Yeah.
It's a match 3 puzzle game when you're cooking the food.
Mm-hmm.
It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up when you go to find the ingredients, which you need to go outside of the kitchen, kill a bunch of monsters, collect all their parts,
so
take
you like
back
forage their parts for your dishes.
Mm-hmm. And then you take them and you put them in the dishes, and then depending on the flavor profile of them,
right,
it depends on what gems you get for your match 3 puzzler. But then the match 3 section, you cook and you can stir and rotate the gems around to make the flavor profile more intense. But then on top of doing that aspect of it, you are also in a battle with somebody else who's doing the same thing, like an AI person.
Yeah.
And you are doing an Iron Chef. I've never seen an Iron Chef, so this is just what I've gathered from absorption of public perception kind of thing. It's a judge in the middle telling you they want a specific ingredient and a specific flavor profile,
mm-hmm.
and you are competing with somebody else to do all of this within about 5 minutes or so,
yeah,
to produce a dish that will please the flavor profile of that judge. It's insane.
Yeah, Maximus Prime in chat says Battle Chef sounds insane. It is, but like they do such a good job of like the whole level, including the kitchen, it isn't really that big, and the way that they introduce it and the way that they lay it out is actually fairly straightforward. It's pretty clear. The match 3 boards are pretty small. You know, it's really clear what the Iron Chef guy wants, and you know what the judges want. It's pretty clear. Yeah.
I'm only a couple of hours in. I think I need to thank T-Bomb Rocks for this one. But yeah, the game is amazing. Like, I don't know how they've mixed 3 different things together.
Yeah.
To the point where like the combat feels as good as Dust. Like, and Dust and Elysian Tale is probably one of my favorite Metroidvanias ever.
Yeah.
And the combat in this feels as good as that did starting off.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it's going to get too much more complicated from that. But like the combat is great, the art style is amazing, the animation is top notch. Like, I don't understand how these people aren't actual anime artists, because this game is so beautiful.
Yeah, it has such a cool style.
Yeah, the mixture of foreground to background to even further background, the different level of detail included in it all. It's just so fantastically done. And I'm kind of really loving it, despite its cheesiness and despite its kind of anime tropes kind of thing.
It's a little tongue-in-cheek and a little bit homage-y.
Yeah, it feels like it's got that balance just right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Battle Chef Brigade, it needs to come to the consoles. Like,
yeah, it's on Switch right now, if I remember correctly. But it needs to come to other stuff.
Give me a nice 4K version of that artwork, please.
Yeah, there you go.
I will stick that on my background in a heartbeat. No, I won't, because my background right now is the Elite Dangerous guy drinking a cup of tea with a bowler's hat on.
There you go.
Because, you know, English.
Right.
But yeah, no. So I've got one more game to talk about, but I'm going to hold off on that because I know Boston's been playing it. So I'll talk about it in your section. That's all I've been playing. Let's go.
Well, let's start off with Into the Breach.
Yes, this is the game I was just talking about.
Perfect. The FTL team has made a single-screen strategy game. And
yep.
I hope you're rushing to Steam to buy it now. This is only the second game that team has made, but two things I think set this game apart that are really important. One is it is truly a single screen. It's not, a strategy game where it's, miles upon miles of screen and terrain. The other thing that's really important is not only can you see the turn order of your enemies, but as soon as it's their turn, or I guess the turn phase, you see every single thing that those enemies are going to do. They've already moved into position, but you'll see, where they're going to shoot and what they'll shoot, how much damage they're going to do, where new enemies are going to come bursting out of the ground. And at that point, it's not really... It's almost less of a strategy game and more of just a pure puzzle game. Where it's...
Yeah. That's what I was thinking when I was playing it. It's very much it reminds me of like Picross, where it's like, here is the board.
Yeah.
Choose your decisions to get the result you want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I've just got to mention it now because otherwise I'll forget. The art style made me want another Front Mission 3.
Man, we talked about this on Pup yesterday, and I had actually referenced Front Mission 1, which I don't think came out in the US. It looks strikingly similar to this game, where it's, the Wanzers and all that stuff.
Different legs, different tops, different weapons.
Yeah, and like, the game had such a cool tutorial, and I've made it maybe just a little bit past the tutorial, but the tools that they introduce to you make so much sense, because really what you're trying to do is, your main objective is protect the buildings that have survivors in them.
Yep.
And then they have like additional objectives, and all you have to really do is survive. I think in some maps you can kill everybody, but that's going to be a little bit more rare.
Yeah, it's a limited number of turns usually. Like, normally it's about 7 turns, sometimes 8, depending on the level.
And what's so cool about this is there's no time limit, so it's perfect that you're just staring at this board and saying, alright, if I push this enemy back 1 square, I'll do 1 bit of damage, but he'll hit the other guy, and he'll block a spawn point. Alright, so that one's cool, but if I hit this guy, the people around him are going to push back, so that's going to save those 2 buildings and drown this one guy. And just like this, like, beautiful mind where it's like, alright, I just need to figure out the best, because you have all the information. And I think that's what's so evolutionary about this game is there's no mystery. And you would think that that would take away the fun of it. Where it's like, oh, well, now I know what they're going to do, but that's the fun. Like,
yeah, that's the puzzle-solving aspect of it.
Yeah, like, you're going to solve this puzzle and try and, string together as much damage and as much knockback and as much... manipulation of the board as you can, not only to get you to the next turn, but try and save as many people. And it just, between the style and the gameplay and the music
is, let's talk about this music.
Ben Prunty comes out with another, he did the music for FTL, and it's like electronic acoustic music.
You know what it really reminds me of, and I don't know if this is a deliberate intention or not. It feels like a chilled out Pacific Rim theme tune.
Great, yeah.
And that is, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of music on video game in anything.
If you like Pacific Rim, you should check out Into the Breach.
Yes. Like, when I started playing it, I was a bit confused by it, because I was expecting more of an action-y kind of game. But then as I played it more and more, I realized, it's a bit like Front Mission 3, but it's also puzzle/strategy. So, like, it's kind of like 1Z chess, where you're just like, these are all the pieces in front of me.
Right.
I need to move them in a way to get the result I want. And what difficulty are you playing it on, out of curiosity?
I started it on normal, and that will go poorly. So once I die, I'll start back on easy.
I haven't tried easy yet. I've just been playing it on normal. I've managed to clear 1 island out. This game is very difficult on normal. Yeah. Just like FTL was, though. FTL was the exact same. If you didn't know what you were doing and you played FTL on normal, it was tough.
Yeah.
You played it on easy and and you got used to it, and then you moved on to normal.
Well, and I think the benefit here, over FTL. If anyone played FTL and didn't really enjoy it, I think one of the best benefits of this is there's no real-time mode in Into the Breach. I mean, it looks very much like a strategy RPG where you're isometric and there's a grid-based system there, but like Maximus Prime says, this turned him off in chat, but Pacific Rim plus chess is pretty. If you have never played a front mission game, or you maybe haven't played a strategy RPG like this before, it looks like a strategy RPG, but it really is like a strategy puzzle game, and it's real good. It's shockingly
so cool.
good.
Like I was debating whether or not to pull the trigger on it. Like it was like, well, it came out. I want to support them, but I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I'm kind of glad I did, because this thing sucked my life away last night.
Yeah.
Like last night, I was just like, nope, I'm in. I'm just doing this run over and over and over again until I figure out. Which I love the fact that it's got that carryover. You can carry, like, you have a squad of 3 tanks. You have a pilot for each tank. And then when you die, you can carry one of those pilots to your next run. Right. Because they all go into the breach.
Right, because you like time travel back, and they're like, we screwed that one up. Let's try it again.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those games where you start playing it and you're like an hour in, and you realize you've just lost like 3 hours, and you're like, okay, so this is gonna be on my top 10 this year, huh?
Yep. That's pretty much exactly what happened to me. I thought, I'll give it a try before tomorrow's show, but then I've got to do my Isaac run, and because I didn't do my Isaac run yesterday, the 67 points, I didn't do that until like 11 o'clock at night because of Into the Breach.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more here and there, but check out Into the Breach. If you haven't played FTL, you get FTL for free when you buy it Into the Breach on Steam right now.
Yep.
So for like $15, I think it is.
And on GOG as well. If you pick up on GOG, you also get FTL for free.
Cool. Yeah, go buy it. So far it's great, and looking at some of the screenshots people have posted of further islands, it looks like it just gets better.
Yeah, I made it to the second island, and that island is kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, man. Next game I played a little bit more Crossing Souls. I played maybe like another hour or two.
Is this Frogger Dark Souls?
What's that?
Is this Frogger Dark Souls?
No, it's not. But now
someone needs to make that game. You can have that for free, people. Make that game.
Yeah. No, this is the thing I kickstarted where it's like an 80s top-down hack and slash game.
Okay. I remember, yeah, you were talking about this. I
think I talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. I played about another hour or two. I have all of the party members now. It looks like you have 5 party members. And it seems like it's primarily... You have a lot of party members. They all have different attacks. Like one has a whip, one has a gun, one has a baseball bat. One guy punches. But the majority of the time you're going to be switching between those characters are in the overworld when you're solving puzzles. Yeah. Like the woman who has a whip can tie them between 2 branches and like fling you guys across a river. One guy's good at machines, so he can sort of...
Does one guy have a boombox?
Not that I know of. Oh, unfortunately, it's not Toe Jam Earl 4, but someday. Someday this year, I think Toe Jam Earl 4 is coming out. Whatever the subtitle is. I can't wait. I spent so much money on that Kickstarter. I got a lot of really cool stuff.
Did you get the Super Duper edition?
Yeah, I spent like $300. But like I said, I'm putting my money where my mouth is.
You could have got me a Switch for that.
Well, thankfully the Switch wasn't out at that point. But I got a bunch of cool stuff for that. They did the right thing where the Kickstarter was over, they made the physical stuff, they shipped it, and then they made the game. Like, it wasn't like, you know, we'll ship it out after the game's done. It'll be any day now. It's been like 2 years, which is fine. Games take a while to make. Yeah.
No, I think that's the biggest positive about things like Kickstarter is that ability, like you said, like you so aptly put your money where your mouth is.
Yep.
Like, and people do it, and people do it to a ridiculous extent sometimes. Star Citizen, anyone. But it gives you that ability to be able to have that discourse with your customers, with your communities. It's a good show of engagement. Like, yeah, you can come out and say, okay, we sold 20 million copies of a game, but someone like the ToeJam and L people can show their engagement and be like, yeah, we sold 200 copies, but 100 of them we sold for $300 because people are idiots like this guy over here.
Yep. Well, and it gives fans like me who
gives you what you want,
have loved the franchise and always wanted a new one. I can come in and say, like, look, this is how much it's worth for me because I want this to succeed. And it's not like, if Jonathan Blow was to hit Kickstarter for a new game, I probably don't need to fund that. That's going to get funded. Ed McMillan, the guy behind Binding of Isaac, he goes on Kickstarter for something, that's probably going to get funded. A new ToeJam and Earl game, I need to throw my money in the ring because that one might not get funded. Thankfully it did, and they actually got picked up by Adult Swim Studios. So nice. Now they have like a proper publisher.
Yay.
Which is great because the game now gets more features, which is even better. But yeah, I think the thing about Crossing Souls, it's not you, it's me. I sort of don't feel like playing it right now. Like, it's the crime of, like, it's a really good game, it has such cool art style. The 80s references are sort of fine. Like, I feel like people have tapped that well a lot in the last 10 years.
I give you a movie coming out either this week or next week or whenever that movie comes out. Like, Ready Player One is out soon.
I read that book when it came out, and even then was sort of like, this is a lot of 80s references, man.
I didn't get a lot of them, not gonna lie.
Yeah, a lot of them are like American 80s references. I think Crossing Souls seems really great. I know reviews were pretty much all over the place. I just sort of don't feel like playing it right now. And
yeah,
sometimes you have to start a game and say, like, this is really good. I will save it for later. It will be installed. I know exactly where my save state is left off. Like, I just finished the tutorial. I'm not that deep in. I will come back to this.
Yeah.
And that's okay, I think. Next game that I was hoping to talk about, but let's follow the time, the crazy timeline of the Yakuza 6 demo. And then, cross out and underline the word demo. So, Sega last week said on Twitter, hey, we released the English language version of the Yakuza 6 Song of Life, I think is the subtitle, the demo on PS4. Go out and get it. Like, here's the link, you can go download it. I said, oh, perfect. It was supposed to be like the prologue and I think a little bit into Chapter 1.
Yep.
It's like, great. I love to do that. You can carry your save file over, you can carry your trophies over, and they were doing this thing where they said, if you install the demo, you get a head start on, like, sort of reserving the install space for the full version if you're downloading the digital one. I was like, well, that's cool. I bought it on disc, so it doesn't apply to me, but I'll try it. I'll see how pretty it looks. Until... so I have not played the demo. Until about 2 days later when the internet realizes... actually, someone at Sega pulled the trigger on the full version of Yakuza 6 and not the demo. So, we have 36 gigs of, hey, it's the full version of the game with no trophies in it. Whoops. So, I think within another day or so, very quickly they pulled it off the store, and within another day or so, Sega blocked people being able to open the game on PS4, which is fine. This is like the one time I'm okay with a digital license being removed. And the coolest part about it is Sega took to Facebook, because I guess a bunch of people asked them, like, hey man, I played a lot of this. Like, are you guys gonna ban me? Like, are you gonna work with Sony to ban me? And Sega said, of course we're not banning anyone. Like,
it's not your fault.
Yeah, like we did that. Like that. And the cool part is, like, we're not banning you. And they said, you know, if you got to play a whole bunch of Yakuza 6, congratulations, you got to play a really big demo for a game we're excited for.
Yep.
You can go pre-order it now. And I was like, that's a really classy way, instead of like pulling an Atlas and being like, I'm gonna ban them and I'm gonna get them kicked out of their house and their YouTube channel's gone for sure, and like so on and so forth. It's a little bit of a bummer that we couldn't play the demo, but like you sort of have to pull it down at that point.
It's shocking to me, like, how great Sega have approached this solution, like this issue. They've done such a good job in not blaming anyone other than the people who should be blamed. I'm assuming people maybe might have lost their job over this.
Yeah, or at least got a good talking to, where it's like, push this button, push the demo button, and not the full game download button.
Yes, push the big red button. Which one? There's two big red buttons.
Right.
But good on them for handling it so maturely. Yep. Because, like you said, you look at Atlas, they're not great.
Earth Persona 5 attitude.
Yeah. You look at Konami with their scorched wallet approach to gaming these days.
Yeah. It's like, nice to see someone, especially as old as Sega, just be like, hey man, we made a mistake. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, if, you know, the full version that came out, the trophies thing was weird and a little bit broken. You need to re-earn them in the game if you play it. But yeah, we're going to carry over your save, like we said. So,
yeah,
you know, and I still have it installed. So if I was pre-ordering the digital one, I might already have the game installed at this point. It just has the little lock icon on it. So, two thumbs up, Sega. That was cool. And last but not least, I played through twice, and platinumed South Park Fractured But Whole.
Hold on. Rewind a second there.
Played through twice, and platinumed South Park The Fractured But Whole.
Okay, so the good news is it's not a 120-hour game like the previous one was.
No. So I had sort of... My daughter is having sort of a bad teething week again, so she was sort of content to sit on the recliner with me while I'm playing stuff and watch her kids' shows. So I got a lot of obviously on mute game time in for South Park Fractured But Whole.
Why would you mute that game? That game was like, it's clearly got PG written on the front of it.
It's the cleanest game I've ever played. So
this ain't your daddy's PG.
Yeah. So this is what's really interesting is it picks up right at the end of
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth, where they're deciding to move away from playing fantasy and they want to play superheroes, which is kind of cool. You play fantasy for like 10 minutes at the beginning, and they introduce you to the new battle system, which is mostly pretty cool. It is a grid-based strategy RPG system where you know, you're moving. They did the cool stuff where you're encouraged to push enemies or pull enemies around the map. Some of the really neat stuff is when you knock back enemies. If you knock them back into another enemy or one of your party members, you get a free hit, basically, because they ricochet, or your other party member sort of punches them back in the other direction.
This is sounding a little bit too much like Disgaea right now.
Yeah, but that's about all that it goes into. Like, that's really it.
So you can't jump into Cartman's pants to get Cartman's pants a higher level?
No, not Cartman's pants +1.
No, okay.
There is a crafting system where you do get to craft relics that you equip on your character, but that's some of the negative stuff that I'll get to here in a minute. I do still really love, just like they did in Stick of Truth, I really love how they couch the city of South Park is still, you know, business as usual, and adults and other kids just trying to live their lives. And these stupid kids are interrupting everything with their dumb game they're playing. That like nobody else can see, but they can with their superpowers.
Nobody else even cares about it. That's the best thing as well.
Yeah, unless you like punch someone or fart on them, like they don't really even notice. I really enjoy cars interrupting battles, because someone will call out car and you scoot off of the street and everybody just lines up and waits for the car to pass by, and then you scoot back in your positions.
That's an incredible touch.
It's really good, and it happens really rarely, but every time it does, someone's like, car, and everyone just sort of scoots back. It's like combined with when you knock somebody out in battle, they fall on the ground, and every once in a while they'll like open one eye and sort of look around. It's like, battle's still going? Okay. And then
yeah, I remember that from the first one where it was just like, are you down? And then they would actually look just to see if they can stop playing yet.
Well, what's great in this one too, because of the grid system, if you need to use the spot that they fell in, basically they get up and they just scoot off screen. So, it's a lot of those touches are really good. I'm not going to talk about the South Park humor, because I feel like this is one of those few games where either you enjoy it or you can put up with the South Park humor, or you really hate it. It is 100%, just like Stick of Truth, it's 100% South Park. That's, a plus or minus, it doesn't matter. You kind of know what you're in for. I hate this phrase, but it is what it is. That's sort of all the good stuff.
Okay, here comes the bad, I'm assuming.
I think South Park Fractured But Whole, before I go into the negatives, I think it's a good game. I don't think it's as good as Stick of Truth, but I'm biased towards Obsidian, and I'm biased towards traditional... Yeah, I know, shocker.
You're biased towards Obsidian? What?
Yeah, I love them. I'm also biased towards classic RPGs. Line up on the left, line up on the right, smack each other around.
Yeah.
I think the movement, the migration to a sort of strategy RPG grid-based battle system is largely good, but on the other side of the coin, where I think it misses out is they have, at least from what I remember from the first game, they've sort of neutered the timing aspect of it. The hit a button as soon as somebody hits you for defense, hit a series of buttons when you're attacking.
Yeah.
They've sort of removed the skill on that. So when you get attacked, basically the X button pops up over your character and a bar depletes around the button, and you just have to hit the X button somewhere before that bar depletes, and you'll get 10% of your health back, and your super bar will fill up a little bit more.
That seems a bit weird.
Well, what's really bad is that in and of itself wouldn't be that bad, but when an attack is incoming, you can just kind of mash the X button, and there's no payback, or there's like no downside to you doing that. It just, as soon as the X button pops up, you hit it and you get all the stuff back. There's no like hit it at the right time and you get more or any of that.
Yeah,
there's
like
no punishment.
Yeah, like Custom Quest and Paper Mario used to be when you missed that timing window,
right,
you'd fall over and maybe take a bit more damage kind of thing.
Right, or like you wouldn't recover as much or something like that. Not in this. Like, you can just sort of, when an enemy's attacking you, can just mash the X button and you'll get the benefit, which...
it's a little weird.
Like, I sort of understand because they're not going for a super hardcore RPG.
Yeah.
But I feel like there has to be some sort of penalty. You can't just go through every battle just mashing the X button and get a benefit.
That's what you think.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I did on my second playthrough, is I just mashed the X button. And then when you attack your enemies, you do a little bit more damage if you get the timing right, but the window for that is really generous.
Yeah.
Dimebag in chat asks, is Bearman Pig back? He's not. He's replaced by Morgan Freeman this time. Which is great. Morgan Freeman runs the local taco shop where you learn more skills by his taco and burrito concoctions he's put together.
Okay.
It's short, so I got all but one of the trophies for the platinum because I misunderstood. The trophy that gives everyone trouble is called the token experience, where when you create your character, you set the skin tone to black and you play it on the hardest difficulty, Mastermind.
Which I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, when this game got announced, and I saw that that was the hard difficulty,
Yeah.
I kind of couldn't help but A, laugh, and
Yeah.
B, give them a round of applause. Because
Yeah.
that's a genius.
They marketed it wrong because the skin tone slider doesn't do anything. So I played my 2 playthroughs on the opposite ends of the skin tone spectrum, and characters in the world treat you differently based on what your skin tone is, which I thought was a really cool touch.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change your difficulty. They have just a difficulty choose after that, like easy, normal, mastermind, which is what you need to play to get the trophy, and then diabolic is a higher difficulty they patched in later. I misunderstood what that trophy was going for, so I didn't get it on my first playthrough. Mastermind is really not that hard, so you probably want to do that the first time. I got 100% in that game except for the selfie you need to take with someone that costs you $5,000, and typically you get 25 cents at a time.
Is it Morgan Freeman?
No, it's the guy who runs City Walk. I don't remember what his name is.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched South Park in like 7 or 8 years, so some of these references, like the member berries, doesn't play for me. PC Principal doesn't do anything for me. Like some of these characters, I'm like, I can tell people love these characters because they play a huge part in this game. I have no idea.
Oh, I didn't know about Craig or Crag until Stick of Truth, because I haven't seen South Park since the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like you don't know about the Craig and Tweak Yowie that you go and collect,
yeah,
which is
I know about that because thank
really
you, Game
great.
of the Year discussions.
So 100%ing that game took me 15 hours.
That's not bad at all.
A lot of that was like me meandering. My second playthrough took me 8, and that was skipping through all the cutscenes. But I also knew, like, I'm going in this building, collect this thing, solve this puzzle, do this thing, you know, knock all this stuff out, and then sort of keep on going.
Yeah.
I really don't have a problem with it being that short. For $60, it's a little bit rough, but I feel like the majority of people that are going to be playing this aren't like me, and they like that Disgaea takes a real long time. You know, they played 150 hours in Persona 5, none of that.
Yeah.
So I sort of get it. I just sort of wish they had traded. So the game takes place over 4 like day and night cycles, and at the end of every day, during nighttime, you go and you go take a dungeon on. And usually the dungeon isn't too long, but usually it has some of the like character switching puzzles you do, which really quickly get old. And then it has a lot of long boss fights, which are also okay. I sort of wish they had trimmed down some of the boss fights and then maybe given the game one more day. I don't know how they could have done that, but I feel like maybe one more day could have made it a little bit more interesting. And I think this is gonna sound really weird, and I genuinely don't know how to get around this. It sort of sucks that you're on the same map as the first game. Like, of course you are, because you're in South Park. Like, that's where the games and the show take place. But going through the exact same map with the exact same houses and locations with a couple extra additions here and the removal of Canada feels a little too samey. But
yeah,
like, where the hell else are you gonna put it? Like I don't know how you get around that.
They kind of stuck a little bit in that regards, but at the same time, you know, if that's what it takes to make the game, then great. But the only thing I can think of them doing to change that would be the kids all imagine they are in like outer space or something, and let's say they change the layout of everything, but like people still walk around just dressed in outfits because the kids see them in that outfit kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be the only thing I could really think. But I do really hope that they make another game in the series, because we so rarely get licensed games like this that are spot on. Like, all the voice actors are there, and it's all great.
That's because it's two guys, dude.
That's, well, there are a lot more for, like, some of the other characters, but, like, you know, they didn't have to get the right voice actor for Mephisto, who's some of the funniest stuff in this game. Like, all the music is there. The intro and the outro is perfect. The ending of the game is perfect. Like, it feels very much like a 15-hour South Park episode. And, you know, including, you know, still the animation and the look that they nailed in the first one carries over. You know, even the people, you know, bobbing around as they walk. Like, all that stuff is spot on. And I'd like to see a third one just to see sort of how they would extend this game, or, like, you know, turn it into a different sort of, like, make an Into the Breach with South Park. Like, I don't know where they would go from here, but
oh, that would actually be kind of cool.
That would be really great. But, you know, I think the thing that sort of stinks is, by removing Obsidian as the developer from this, I think you get a better South Park, but I think you get a worse game. Yeah. And I think that's fine, but I think Obsidian made a really good South Park RPG, and I think these guys made a really good South Park game that's a light strategy RPG, which is probably really great. If you like South Park and you're interested in strategy RPGs, this is probably a really good intro for, you know, especially like pushing and pulling units and, you know, positioning and all that sort of stuff. But I just kind of miss that Obsidian RPG.
Yeah. And well, that's because Obsidian are great.
Yeah, just flat out. So I think I would still recommend Fractured Butthole, knowing that, like, it's not a super long experience, which for a lot of people is probably a plus. It's a really easy platinum that you can just get in one playthrough. Nothing's missable except for that one trophy. And it's sort of just a good time. And I think, like I said, I think it's a good game. It just, we talked about it a lot on Pup. If they would have just gone, like, one step further with, like, some of the timing stuff and some of the SRPG stuff, I think it could have been a really good RPG at the same time. But for whatever reason, whether it was through design or, you know, development problems or whatever, they just kind of didn't take that extra step, and I think that's kind of a bummer. But
yeah,
it's good. I mean, it's really good, and I would still recommend it, especially if you like the first one. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
Let's.
Yes, let's.
Ta-da! You with your giant mason jar?
Oh, it's so good.
Look at my mason jar. My mason jar is full of meats and cheeses.
Hey, there you go.
And biscuits.
Got a bunch of texts here. What happened?
Biscuits, cookies. I don't know what you guys call them over here. Where's my fork?
I don't know. Everybody calls everything something different.
Yeah, because you're all weird.
Oh, man. How's everyone in chat doing today?
Let's
take a little save our throats break here.
Yep.
I recorded so much stuff yesterday, my voice was already in a bad spot starting this. So.
Yeah, it's spoiler cast for Persona 5.
Yeah, that was intense.
Do me a favor, give my camera a bit of a wave.
What?
Give my camera a bit of a wave.
Like
closer.
This?
You're blurry on my side.
Oh, what happened? It was complaining that, is that better or no?
No.
It's doing the autofocus thing.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, it was complaining about bandwidth there for a little bit, so it might have just fuzzed it up a little.
Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of pixelated robot noise. That's
oh, great. I even reset my internet, my computer, and everything.
Might not be your fault, it might be my end.
There we go. Giant Ubisoft PC sale brings over 100 games on sale from catalog.
Yay. Man, Ubisoft are my favorite devs right now.
Assassin's Creed Origins on PC is $35.
If I hadn't already played it.
18. Black Flag is 9.
You need to say Assassin's Creed Syndicate, because anytime someone just says Syndicate,
That's
they
fair.
make me excited.
AC Syndicate is very
Thank you. Man, that was good.
How do you guys feel about the Splinter Cell series, and do you think it can have a comeback? I liked the Splinter Cell series. I played that one that came out on 360 that was like the least like it. Conviction?
Which one?
The one that had all the writing on the side of the walls?
That's Conviction.
Conviction, yeah. Before Hitman was so popular, I would have said I don't think Splinter Cell could come back. I feel like it could. I just don't know when would be the right time to come back.
In all honesty, for me, it needs to, because Splinter Cell's always been one of my stealth favorite game series of all time.
Yeah. It's really great.
Like, the OG Xbox version, on the original Xbox Fat. On that, I played that all over the place. We destroyed that game, me and my dad did.
Yeah.
And then, I think it was Blacklist. It was like the second game I ever played with Jess, my now wife. So, Splinter Cell, it means a lot to me. Like, a hell of a lot.
Watch Dogs 2 on Uplay is $18. That's a great price.
Shame I already bought it.
Hey, here we go. Fractured But Whole on Uplay is $25. Stick of Truth is $13.
13's well worth it for Stick of Truth.
Yeah, that's a lot of game for $13. Might and Magic, Brothers in Arms, other Ubisoft titles. Grow Home is $2.40.
Okay, so, question.
Yes.
What is a hot tamale?
It is, have you ever had Mike and Ike's?
No.
Oh, man. It's, it has like a thicker kind of sugary coating, and in the inside is almost like hard jelly, but I think it's cinnamon flavored. It's supposed to be hot. I think like when you're a kid, you'd be like, oh, this is spicy. I think it's just cinnamon.
Let's find out.
They're pretty good. So
it's a cinnamon jelly bean, basically.
Basically, yeah, like a long jelly bean. Mike and Ike's are that, but they're fruit flavored and they're not quote unquote spicy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like them. They're nothing compared to Fireballs, which is the English version. Except it's not a jelly bean, it's a hard candy that you suck on.
Oh, we have
basically
those
got the
here
same
too,
flavor.
yeah. Mostly you'll see them in like grocery stores and like pop a quarter in and turn it and you get a Fireball out.
These cost 25 cents for this whole box.
Nice.
I'm trying to improve my
like movie
understanding.
theater snacks.
Yeah. Like the big boxes that you get for like $1.80 or whatever.
Yeah, there's like 400 in there.
Oh,
man.
Man, now you got me wanting another Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Thanks, B.
In 10
Splinter
years,
Cell.
once Rainbow Six Siege is over.
Oh, Splinter Cell was so good multiplayer-wise as well. Like, talk about underrated multiplayer modes. The different loadouts, the soldiers versus the spies. That was so good.
Why do I have a... Your video is choppy, and I feel like it's on my end. Let's close out of Dropbox. I think I have all my questions from Discord. We can close out of that.
Is there anything I can do?
Nah, probably not. Alright,
That's still open, but I'm not downloading anything.
I am ready whenever you are.
Give me a couple more puffs on my magic pipe.
Okay.
No, I don't get high during the show, everybody. Just for the record. Despite what some YouTube comments would have you believe.
It's so funny. I feel like that would be so anathema to the spirit of the show.
What, get stoned as hell in the break?
Yeah. don't know.
Well,
I feel like
also
we're
like-
not like I have nothing against those sort of shows where it's like we're gonna get drunk when we talk about games, we're gonna get high, we're talking about games. Like those are fine, but I feel like that's not the show. That's not the show.
No, it's not us. It's not this show now.
Yeah. We're straight edge, man.
Minus the fact that I smoke, I really kind of am. I did my drugs in my youth. I did my booze in my youth.
Yeah.
The only one I've still got is the smoking, and that's what this is for, is to stop me from smoking so much.
I got all my drinking done during college. I'm good.
Me too.
I need that money for
Okay.
video games.
Well, yeah. That's definitely a big factor towards it. It's like, oh wait, I can spend $80 on my vape rig and it'll last me like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can spend $80 on cigarettes, and if I'm not touching my vape rig, that'll last me less than a week. I know
Yeah.
which way I'll go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Plus, my mouth doesn't smell like ass.
That's a plus.
Yep.
My mouth doesn't smell like a butthole.
Which, was it you who tweeted that, by the way? Because my wife spotted the same thing on Tumblr.
Hmm.
It was the lady complaining about vapors, and she's like, I don't have a problem with you vaping. I don't have a problem with any of that. My problem with vapors is when I'm walking down the street and I smell donuts or cinnamon bread or candy. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go around this corner and get myself a little treat. But then when I get around the corner, it's just Brad and his cloud of lies.
Yeah.
Like,
I like
I
that.
think you retweeted it, and then I think my wife spotted it on Tumblr, and she was like, "Oh God, I read this funny thing." I was like, "I think Boston tweeted this."
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Man. Brad and his cloud of lies.
That's the best line of the whole thing,
Yep.
because it's true. Like, our house smells like cotton candy. In today's case, it smells like grape.
Oh,
And grape
yeah.
is a great smell,
Mm.
and there's nothing grape in this household.
Right. Including
Nope.
your backdrop.
Well, my backdrop is delicious in grape.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, ready when you are.
All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of March 5th, 2018. Fear Effect Sedna comes out on PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. For some reason, someone decided to make a sequel to the Fear Effect games, and it seems like it's an RPG this time around.
Wait. When you say Fear Effect, are we talking creepy little girl with long hair, or are we talking the guy who's on UFC producing a show?
No, we're talking about the PlayStation 1 games that featured the sexy ladies that might be getting together with each other.
Okay, so it was none of my two suggestions and something completely different.
Right. Welcome to TVGP.
Okay.
Yeah, both of those other things were also called Fear Effect.
I think the other one was just Fear, because it was First Encounter and Reconnaissance.
Okay.
Booyah! 4-letter acronym remembered 10 years later.
There we go. Final Fantasy 15 comes to the PC. You've probably seen that this is coming out because of the Gordon Freeman and Sims outfits that are really funny looking.
Okay, is that a tease? Do you think that's a tease?
No.
Or is that just Valve trying to get everybody's gecko?
I think that's just Square sort of being like, what's the dumbest costume we can put? Yeah, Gordon Freeman. That's right. And run around as Gordon.
On Valve's end, though, you know that's going to be them being like, hey, this will get them all talking about it again, won't it?
Let's approve this one. This one's funny.
It's like the other one they did when on the 3rd of March, I think it was last year, the 3rd of March, they had there was like a CES or something, and they booked room 3 at 3 p.m. on
Right.
the 3rd of March, and it was just like everyone was talking about it. It's like, no, it was some VR presentation.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Valve is just a bunch of trolls, man.
Oh, yeah. Also coming out is the Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition for PS4 and I think Xbox One, but I couldn't find confirmation. So, this is sort of the Game of the Year edition plus extra stuff. Like
in the animated movie.
a new dungeon, first-person mode, new gear, new bosses, all the DLC, plus like a bunch of other stuff. Like you can pilot the boat now, like stuff that isn't in the original season pass or not downloadable for the original Final Fantasy 15, and it's coming out on Tuesday, and no one knows if you can get it for the original yet. So,
okay.
Square did the right thing of saying, like, hey, we're going to support this game into the first quarter of 2019 with DLC, and here's the DLC pack with bonus stuff that might be exclusive. It's like, you got so close.
Yeah. Almost did it right, Square.
Come on, Square. Scribblenauts Showdown is coming out for the Switch, the PS4, and Xbox One, which I got really excited about because I thought it was a new Scribblenauts game, but it's a multiplayer party game, which I don't want. I'm
fed up of multiplayer party games. Yeah. There's one company that does them well. Let them do that, and everybody else stop making it.
Yeah. If your company name isn't Jackbox,
yep,
stop. Or just steal that idea.
Although, I'm not going to lie, I did see a bit of a quick look on House Party, which looks hilarious.
Yes. It's a different sort of party.
Yes. Sorry, it brought that to my head, and I added it to my wish list on Steam just because it's going to be fun trying to talk about that game on this show.
Yes. Life is Strange Before the Storm Farewell comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is the bonus episode where like Max and Chloe are back together, and it's like the original voice actors and all that stuff. I bought the deluxe edition on for the digital download, so I'll be getting this. So I'll talk about that on next week's episode. Still unsure of how I feel about pretty much the whole idea, but please stay tuned next week where I say, "Oh my god, it was amazing!" You know, as usual. And A Gift and a Curse Flint Hook comes out on the Switch. Flint Hook is a really great game, and that's a really great platform for it. The D-pad on the Joy-Cons, not great.
Let's just a quick rewind here to the Mummy Demastered Game Club episode. If you haven't listened to that, you know, you don't have to. Just give it a listen to, because it's kind of null and void at this point. Thank you for the patch.
Way forward.
But Musum had a lot of issues with his D-pad on that system.
Yeah.
I have issues with the D-pad on my Elite controller with that game, because the game it's like a roguelike shmup platformer all in one.
I bet if you have a Pro controller, it's probably better, but Pro controllers are expensive too. So
that's what Nintendo does.
Flint Hook is a good but long and occasionally mean game because it's a roguelike, so you're relying on RNG a lot, but I don't know. I'm curious to see what people think about that, because that could potentially be sort of like, yeah, it's a really great game, and I can't really play it. So, bummer. Speaking of bummers, move on to news stories. PlayStation Plus will stop offering PS3 and Vita games March 2019. I mean, the writing is on the wall for this. That's the least surprising thing, but they were sort of putting out a lot of really great obscure games and kind of some cool RPGs and some real fun stuff on PS3 and Vita that we're also getting like this month. I think if you have a PS4, because of the PS4 stuff and the cross-buy stuff, you're getting like 5 free games across all the different platforms. That's a bummer. The one thing I was surprised about too is in the announcement, Sony said like, hey, if you're upset about this and you want to cancel your PlayStation Plus, here are the steps to do that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's surprisingly
weird,
honest for a company where it's like, you're angry, cool, do something about it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not going to, but
I'm very curious, because I can't help but to think about the business decisions that get made behind stuff like that. Like the Sega one, you can understand, because Sega messed things up when it came to the Yakuza stuff. They messed things up, so they handled it appropriately. When this happens and they're like, if you don't like it, this is how you can cancel. All I'm thinking behind that is the business strategy is this is how you find out how many people are still interested in backwards compatibility, how many people are still interested in going backwards. Here is a bunch of data we can get from this process of people not signing up based on things going forwards.
Yeah, like how long do we need to keep PSN up on the PS3 and the Vita? You know, like, does the usage just bottom out as soon as we drop this? Yeah, that's a good point. Next news story, ESRB is adding labeling to games that feature in-game purchases.
To be honest, I kind of don't really want to talk about this because this is the biggest pile of BS that has come out recently.
Okay, so short coverage of this is there's very little detail, so it's sort of hard to fully react to this at the moment. But the ESRB is saying that they're gonna put labeling. People read this as loot boxes originally, but it's larger than that. They want to put a label on any game that features in-game purchases. They say, quote, purchase digital goods or premiums with real-world currency, end quote. They're saying bonus level skins, surprise items, which they're calling loot boxes, music, you know, virtual coins, subscriptions, all that stuff, including season passes and stuff. So you read that and you think, well, it's going to be useless because I think virtually every game that comes out is going to have this, at least for buy currency or buy season pass. And
it's not even just that. It's boxed copies only, number one.
Okay.
So it's not on digital. But to be honest, I think Microsoft, I haven't seen the Sony store, so I don't know, but Microsoft, Apple, Google all do a good job on their individual storefronts of making sure you're aware there are microtransactions within this Apple game.
It usually says like contains in-app purchases or something like that. That's a good point.
I don't know if Sony does it, but I know all of the other ones
usually do. There's like an icon for like a shopping bag icon.
The fact that it's basically just aimed at microtransactions, they're only implementing this after, I believe it was the governor of Hawaii wrote them and said, do something or I'll do something.
Yeah.
So the government threatened to get involved and they're doing the minimal step they have to do to avoid the government getting involved. Let's not mention the fact that it's on boxed copies of games. Games change day one after that box has come out. What's going to stop every single company from having these systems in place? We saw it with Forza Horizon 3. We saw it with Metal Gear Solid 5. You see it with
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex, Shadow of War, Assassin's Creed Origins. These are all games that had these systems in place but not live when the game came out.
Right.
A week later, they're all active.
Yep.
They can now say, we don't have to put that sticker on because there is no real-world transactions in our game at time of release.
Right. Well, and the thing that's really disappointing, too, is I know a lot of people like to sort of make fun of the ESRB, but they do have a really good website where, especially if you're a parent looking at a game that your kid wants, it lays out, like, here are the swear words in it. Here is the type, here are, like, 3 examples of the violence, like, people get decapitated and you see the spine and there's a lot of blood, like there's gore in this part. Here are some of the offensive lines that are in there. Like, you can get a really great idea of, you know, when the back of the box says drugs and alcohol, the website will say, like, what does that really mean?
They do a proper parent's guide.
Yeah, they do a really good job, because at my last job we were dealing with that a lot when we were sort of categorizing stuff. And it's really a shame that they're not, at least at launch, quote-unquote launch, they're not taking that same thing, at least online, to say, you know, to see which in-app purchases are in this game, please check our website, and they'll lay out all the different types of ways sort of live as that happens.
Yeah.
I hope they evolve it. At the surface, it's not a bad idea. They just need to do it right.
It's not, but this is the bare minimum. And you know this is the bare minimum. The only time they're going to go further is when this gets taken further by somebody in the government. Because they're not scared of what we think. They're not scared of what consumers think. EA has proven that time and time again.
We're just going to buy
Overwatch has proven that time and time again. Everybody has proven that they don't care what consumers think. Because it's a business, and if it's a business that works for them, they're going to stick with it.
Yeah.
The second the government starts getting involved, that's when their pants drop, and that's when they get worried.
Yeah.
So until this gets taken to the next level by the government, we're not going to see any improvement in this. I want that parents guide for microtransactions because I want parents to be able to know that they are buying a game that contains things specifically aimed at getting more money out of you, and in some cases aimed to exploit people with addictive tendencies. I have addictive tendencies. Like, I am one of the people that this thing is targeted at. That's why I don't spend money on microtransactions. That's why I don't do DLC, is because if I start, I will not stop. And it takes all of my effort to not do that, because I know that that's my personality type, is that addictive personality type. So it's aimed at me, and I feel like I can feel it itching away at me sometimes, where it's just like, I want it and I can pay $5 and get the chance to get it, but I don't want to pay the $5. Like,
well, like, let's compare. That would be really useful, because let's compare two recent big hits where you have Assassin's Creed Origins, which has a season pass, and you can use real-world money to buy in-game items and currency, but all that stuff kind of sucks. You know, obviously the ESRB wouldn't say that, but there would be like 2 or 3 bullet points. And then you look at something like Destiny 2, where, yeah, there's a season pass, but there's also real money purchases, and there's loot boxes, and there's X, Y, and Z. Like, it's a longer list of things that could potentially be problematic, or if you're a young kid that doesn't understand how gambling works, maybe a parent that doesn't want to buy something that has loot boxes like that in it.
Yeah.
So
they need to do a better job of defining it, because I get it, they're doing what they can to make the money they can. They're a business, that's the way businesses operate.
Yeah.
But some of the most popular and well-doing businesses, especially in this industry, some of the best ones are the ones that treat their customers with respect.
Right.
I give you good old games, The Witcher team.
Yep.
These guys have been, like, they started doing some, like, they got their startup doing some shady stuff.
Yeah.
And look at them now. No DRM, no nothing, no this. Yep. You get this
free
for free.
DLC.
Like, good on them. Like, people like that, companies like Valve. Valve were widely regarded as great for the customer for a long time, until they had this effort, let's just make as much money as we can kind of thing. Here you go, it's Monday, here's 20 new games in the store. It's Tuesday, here's another 50. Right. It's Wednesday, here's another 60, you know.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to our last news story here, and we'll come back to this
as it develops.
Yeah, as things firm up maybe a little bit. But the opposite of that is a rumor here for Battlefield 5 that should be releasing this year. Obviously, it will probably come out during the fall. We'll see it at E3. But the rumor is that they're going to be going back to World War II this time.
No, go away.
I was going to say, Moonpier, how do you feel about that? But a groan and a no is pretty much it. It feels an awful lot like, I feel like they sort of got lucky, sort of / made a really great game with Battlefield 1. They took it to a war that has typically not been that covered. I feel like going back to World War II is like, all right, bring out that horse. Like, it's been dead for about 10 years, but let's keep beating it.
I'm not gonna lie, as a non-American, this has very little impact on me. I'd love to see them do Vietnam. Yeah,
they did. I
know Call of Duty
did a Vietnam one. Yeah.
They did a couple of things set around that time period. I think it was not Ghosts. Tell me about the numbers, Mason.
Yeah, that was
it was that one.
Yeah, there was. I think it was just Call of Duty Vietnam was one of them. There was another one. Every time we talk about this, there's like 2 games, and we think of the one title, and then can't think of the other one.
Yeah,
but I just feel like
the biggest thing for me is I want helicopters. I miss my helicopter. I miss hovering over a base and dodging missiles and doing stupid stuff in a helicopter.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get that with a World War II game. Give me a Vietnam game where you're flying a helicopter in the jungles. Yes, please. Yeah. Give me a challenge like that. Like, it's incredible environments right there for you, waiting to be done. just don't do World War II. Please don't do World War II. And if you're gonna do it, you can't call it Battlefield 5. Like,
Yeah,
you just
like,
can't.
the thing that I'm just so surprised about is, like, why keep going back to that well? I feel like other than multiplayer, a lot of people are just kind of sick of it. Just make a multiplayer-only Battlefield that's called Battlefield 5. Just screw
If they
it.
want to do it, that's absolutely fine. But I don't care about. I'd like to say I'm not going to care about the campaign, but that's what I thought about Battlefield 1, and that game has got probably one of the best campaigns I've played in a long time.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if they want to go like they did with Battlefield 1, where they're focusing on smaller stories, like on the ground during the war, that might be okay, but you have to market that really hard that that's what you're going to do for people like you, and especially people like me, to even get anywhere close to being interested in that. Because you come out and you say, Battlefield 5, World War II, and I'm just sort of like, okay, go with God. Enjoy it.
I think if they're going to do it, if they go, the only way you can get me really interested in this game is if you're going to do it World War II, I will probably bounce off the multiplayer, like I kind of did with 1.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the campaign, give me the mini side stories again. Yeah, that's fine. Present it in the same way you did it with Battlefield 1, because it's really great. Like, the locations of those stories are based on where the battles are. Give me both sides of the story.
Sure, that'd be interesting.
Give me the Axis, give me the Allies, give me each individual army's like fighting points. Like, give me the wars in Russia, some of the most not known about combat, and in World War II. England thinks we lost a lot in World War II. America thinks they lost a lot in World War II. We lost a drop in the bucket compared to what happened to Russia during World War II.
Yeah, tell some of those more interesting stories, but like, I feel like they just have such a hill to climb to say, like, it's World War II. No, come back. Wait, we did something cool. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah. Give me something. Just give me something else. Stop going back to World War II.
Yeah.
Just, I hate. I've been playing World War II shooters since I was like 10.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I'm done.
Yeah, but we're not done with this episode. Let's move on to questions from Discord. We have Almighty Tooth, who I haven't heard from in a while. Which feature from a previous console or game do you miss most from later iterations? I miss being able to rip CDs on my Xbox to play custom soundtracks.
Believe you can still do that.
On Xbox One, right?
On Xbox One, I believe so. There is definitely a workaround. And there
I don't think you can do that on PS4.
There's some really interesting stuff you can do with custom music. I can't remember who it is, but one of our community members makes the best videos when it comes to using custom soundtracks.
Yeah.
But I mean, the old features from consoles or games.
I do miss custom soundtracks for stuff like RPGs.
Yeah.
And
Forza.
it's like, yeah, like, I'm just gonna grind for a while. I want to listen to this new album. Like, I just looked up in Xbox One support site, and it looks like you can do it with Pandora. So maybe you can do it with Spotify, which would probably be better. But that would be okay. But I don't think you can do that with PS4.
I'm trying to think of other features, because, to be honest, the Xbox is in a good place for me right now. Like, a lot of people complained about things that were missing from it. I think they've done a good job with implementing features that people were missing.
They've been really positively aggressive about that. Like, every season they come out with 2 big firmware updates every year, right? Like the spring and the fall one.
Yeah. And they've also got a really good thing, which is they have a community suggestions page.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
You can go into their page and you can see who's voting. Like, you can see how many votes different suggestions have been made.
Yeah.
Like, people forget this generation that we're in now didn't have the option for the audio to go out over headset, speakers, or both. Yep. It was just one or the other, which meant that if you were in a room with other people couldn't hear what was getting said.
Yeah.
So, the fact that they've reintroduced that back into it, that also helped streamers a lot. I know that much as well.
Yeah.
So I think that the Xbox has done everything I need it to. The party system works fantastically. The chat system works okay. There's little things that are issues, but I don't suffer from them too much. Like, friend of the show, Mackie, when he plugs his headset in, his controller disconnects and then reconnects.
Oh, weird.
Which it used to happen a while ago for me, but it hasn't happened in a long time. And I don't know if that's an issue with his controller, with his headset, or both.
Or like the
you
controller. I know the sort of positive and negative stuff that Microsoft does is they allow you to upgrade your controller's firmware through the console, which sort of a blessing and a curse, because like they don't have to get it right the first time, but they can fix any weird issues like that.
Yeah,
I feel like over the last generation, I feel like I miss so little because we have so much more, especially for me on both consoles. I love the sharing stuff, sharing screenshots and making, like, for some of the clips I made for Assassin's Creed Origins of just like the open world weirdness, like you hold down a button, you press another button, and you can just trim your clip right there while the game is going in the background, and then just share it to wherever you want. It takes me 2 minutes, and I just have a funny clip of a boat spinning around in the middle of the air, and I'm back to playing the game. Like, that stuff to me is, I don't know if it's worth, you know, losing some of the background music stuff, or, you know, now we have ads on the dashboard for Xbox One and a little bit for the PS4, you know, is it worth that trade-off? But I feel like both companies have done such a great job of improving their dashboard so much that I feel like we probably would have had a different conversation a couple of years ago on launch, where it's like, man, we don't even have this, or this one console has this but not the other one. But they're both in really good spot at this point. You know, whether you like one or another is sort of beside it, but they've both been doing a really great job.
Then you've got the opposite end of the spectrum, which is the Switch, which you need a phone and a headset and a special connectors and everything else just to be able to chat online. Yeah.
Well, you know, they did a really great job, I think, on their OS. It's really clean. It's really simple. You just have a bunch of tiles for your games, and you know they've done a great job ever since the original DS on making really great menus.
Yeah.
It's just that stuff where it's like, and there's party chat, and here's the super convoluted way to use it. And it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, Nintendo's always had incredible UX design and an incredibly bad hardware design.
Yep. You've made 9 of these 10 things are really great, and that last one is really bad.
Yeah. When it comes to games, like, I mean, I've never really missed features myself, because I tend to just view everything on its own merits, kind of thing. Like, I'm the person who will play something terrible and give it 4 out of 5 stars for one thing it did incredibly well. I always find the positive in pretty much anything that I play or do. Like, I can tell you why things are bad. I can tell you why you won't enjoy things. I'll forget that, and I'll just remember the one thing I love about it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help it. I tend to look on the positive side of these things, despite the rest of me not doing that at all. But when it comes to movies and video games, like, yeah, it's great. Why is it great? These reasons. Will I like it? No.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if we were a different show, this would launch us into another half-hour conversation about, like, remember when stuff was just in a game and it wasn't DLC? But, like, that ship sailed so long ago that, like, you either need to deal with it or just buy a Super NES Classic and that's your console you're going to play. Like, whether you agree with it or not, that, unfortunately, that's sort of sailed. So, I don't know, I feel like most games have so many RPG elements in them nowadays that I'm sort of in love with a lot of games. It's like Assassin's Creed Origins, you have XP and you level up and you have damage numbers and this is all right and you're critting. Yeah! Like,
yeah.
I don't know, games are great.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Moving on, T-Bomb Rocks has 2 questions for us. With the Xbox One and One X offering enhancements for original Xbox games, Crackdown and Witcher 2, and the system upscaling and enhancing, then you have Square putting out a port of Chrono Trigger that overall everyone seems unhappy with on PC, which is an understatement. My question is, do you see more devs letting consoles do the work for classic games rather than spend their own money on a remaster?
I think it's, in that case, like, they've just got to give the nod to Microsoft. I'm sure Microsoft will flip a bunch of switches in it with minimal work from the devs. You know, it will allow them to promote something. and hopefully give them a little bit of cash influx. Like, give a studio some cash influx for a game that, let's be honest, most of these remakes I'm not interested in. Like, you can start as an individual. You can be wherever you want to be on the remake front. I picked up the Darksiders remaster bundles because, hey, I like Darksiders and I want to support Darksiders, so I bought them again for the third time. 3.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if a dev can say to Microsoft or anybody else, take this, flip a few switches, make it better, that's fine by us. It doesn't break the game. No, great. There you go. It gives them some publicity about games like that, and then you never know with things like The Witcher 2 is a good example of this. There's a game that you can probably get for $10 at this point. So you go out, you buy it, it's $10, you stick it in your system, you start to play it, you like the enhancements, you like the gameplay. I wonder if there's a sequel to this.
Yeah.
What's this Witcher 3 that is rated 5 stars on every single thing it's on, and everybody will not shut up about how great it is?
And it's on sale.
Exactly. It gives them a good chance for that kind of stuff, because I think remasters are a risk. They are a very risky proposition for you to. How much work is it going to take you? How much money are you going to spend? To remake that, and how much are you going to get back from that?
Well, I think what we keep forgetting is there is a middle ground here. So there is, like, let the console do it, with the PS2 classics on the PlayStation, and for some reason not PS1 games. I don't understand why.
Isn't there no PS3 on them as on the 4 as well?
No, because the cell processor was weird. I think, honestly, Sony just sort of wants to forget about the PS3 and says, like, throw up their hands and say, like, cell was a mistake. I'm sorry, it's too hard. Sorry, we made a mistake. Don't forget about those.
Hey, Windows went 8 to 10. We went 2 to 4.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a difference between Square crapping out an iPhone game on Steam. I think the middle ground are remaster houses like Hexadrive and Bluepoint. They're the ones that are behind. What's that?
There was someone who did whoever did the Metal Gear Solid ones. They were fantastic. That might have been Bluepoint.
That might have been Bluepoint, yeah.
But they were incredibly done.
Yeah, like Hexadrive fixed the Zone of the Enders ones that came out. Like, those are companies, you give them your assets and as much code as possible. It is their job to bring it to, whatever value is current console. They're going to bring it to PS4 and Xbox One, and that's what they do, and they do a good job. If the in-house developers, if Sony or Microsoft or Konami or whoever don't want to do it themselves, these are really good alternatives for them to say, here's $1 million or a couple million, I don't know how much it costs. I'm going to assume it's a significant amount of money, and go remaster this game and
do your dark magic.
Yeah, do your dark magic, and then a set number of people will buy that remaster, and we'll sort of be done with it. So I feel like that's the sweet spot, are remaster houses. And I feel like that's sort of the forgotten secret here, is that whenever I hear people say, like, and T-Bomb Rocks didn't do this and neither one of us did, whenever I hear people say, God, we should stop making remasters and just focus instead on new games, like, they're not working on remasters. Like, that's not a good business proposition for them. A better business proposition is to throw money at these two companies and say, they're going to do the work while we're working on, they'll remake Battlefield in 1942 while we're working on Battlefield 5. It's not like one or the other. Ubisoft isn't not working on the next Assassin's Creed game because they're remastering Rogue. They peeled off 100 people or something from Ubisoft Village, and they're going to work on that for a couple of months or a year or so.
I think it's Ubisoft City at this point, to be honest, based on the credits.
Ubisoft City, Canada. It's, I don't know, but that is a good question, though. And he says, second question here, I was considering getting my daughters a Super NES Classic. A majority of the games they requested to play are not on the system. I've decided to build them a Raspberry Pi instead. When is it considered not as bad to use ROMs or emulators to play games?
When you own them.
See,
that's literally it.
I think that's like the bare minimum, but for me, I think where that line draws is like when you you can't go and get a brand new system. Like, for me, PS2 is fine. You can't go out and buy a brand new PS2. You probably could, but you can't go to Best Buy and you're gonna buy a premium.
Have I introduced you to a certain company called GameStop?
Yeah, but like, you're buying something used. You're not buying a brand new one. You know, you're not really. You can't easily go and get a new one. So for me, that's kind of like, you look at the Super NES and you look at the Genesis. It's gonna even start being harder to get used consoles of those. Nevertheless, the games that you really want to play at that point, you know, obviously you want to own them. You know, wink to be legal. But at some point, the viability of getting, you know, some of this stuff is just impossible. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, one of the best rhythm games of all time, in my opinion, is impossible to get hold of.
Which one's that? Elite Beat Agents?
No, that's actually really impossible to get hold of as well, though. It's incredible. No, it never got released in the US. I have a copy of it sitting in England.
Rhythm Tengoku?
Nope.
Okay. Vib Ribbon?
There we go.
Yeah. I own a copy of Vib Ribbon, the European or the Japanese release, and I think I own a copy of the sequel. What was that called?
Oh, it was called something stupid because it was a bad game.
Yeah, it was not great. Let's look it up here.
Vib Ribbon is so good.
Mojib Ribbon.
There you go.
That was for a PS2 or 3. It was not good. PS2, yeah. Cool idea, but not good.
Yeah. But no, I mean, stuff like that, like when it comes to the whole ROM situation, is you got to do what's right by you. Nobody else can tell you. Correction. The law can tell you what is correct.
Yes, officer.
On a moral standpoint, nobody can tell you what you are morally obliged to do or not to do. It's completely up to you. If you want to go out and spend $25 on one of those auctions on eBay, which is like, here is a mystery box that contains 200 SNES games.
Yeah.
You will get 96 copies of Madden 1992. But, you know, do that kind of stuff, you know, and if you're okay with it, then be okay with it. There's nothing stopping you from doing it.
The great part is, like, you can get a Raspberry Pi kit off Amazon for $35 to $50, and it comes with like the case and an SD card and all this stuff. And RetroPie is such a great, not only emulator, but a great front end on your Raspberry Pi for multiple systems and multiple games, and it's so great, especially for somebody that's younger. I think T-Von was saying his daughter is around 9 years old. It's so great to be able to plop them in front of that, and they already know how to use it. You know, you just pop in whatever controller, or like pop in a 360 controller, and the mapping is already figured out. Like, that's so invaluable, at least for discovery, if not for like, here are the games I loved as when I was your age, you know. Go spend 5 to 10 minutes of them and break my heart.
Don't torture them with those square controllers anymore.
No. Yeah.
They destroyed my hands.
Yeah, use a 360 controller or an Xbox One or PS4 controller. Those all should work. So.
Yeah.
Last question here from Maximus Prime on Discord. So, if you had to choose between pizza, chicken, or steak for your in-game health replenishment, which would you choose?
In real life, pizza. In video games, steak. Always steak.
I mean, I always like a good wall chicken in a game.
Wall chickens are good, but you can't beat that, like that Asterix and Obelisk, like big rack of mutton kind of thing.
Just like the bone out of the back of it.
Exactly. You can't beat that.
I always liked pizza in games, especially when it showed up in a bunch of games where it's like, here, we're in ancient times. This pizza recovers your health. And it's like,
Yep.
That doesn't... Wall chicken also doesn't make sense, but chicken would have existed around there. But I always like a good, dumb pizza showing up and like, here's a Castlevania game. Recover your health with pizza. It's like, that's... Okay. Real weird.
I just love the big slabs of meat. That's always been a thing for me. And like, I mean, Streets of Rage, you do get the dumpster chicken in the Streets of Rage's case.
Yeah. Barrel chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's just the comical slab of meat is always the thing I go back to. Like, just that thing that looks ridiculous, but all it always looks so delicious. Which Thank you, Japan, for making the most tempting-looking food in every single video game ever, apparently.
Like Dragon's Crown. That food is always just... Mmm.
Dude, Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, the slab of beef that gets put on that when the kitchen's fully upgraded, I'm telling you, it's the size of a small Chevy.
Yeah. Get me some of that.
Yeah.
All right, well, now that Maximus Prime has made us hungry, that's the end of our questions and the end of our episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Links to everything, including the Discord server, are, as Moonpier is pointing, on the right-hand side of the page. Come join the Discord server. It is always hopping, especially the Marvel Puzzle Quest channel. Man,
It never stops.
place. You want your strategies, and that's or help just for who you should recruit. That's the place to go. You can find all the other shows at e1m1.com. Don't forget, Dynamic Soundtrack is back for all you patrons. You can be a patron at patreon.com/e1m1. Get cool behind-the-scenes stuff, and now much higher quality show notes now that I've started scanning them in, which is also a blessing and a curse. What else? Oh. Watch us live at Twitch and YouTube and Mixer and Smashcast and all the places. Follow us on all those places, and they will let you know when we go live. Because we go live on Sunday around the same time, depending on how long the Binding of Moonpier takes to record.
Yep.
And Persona 5 Spoilercast and Binding of Moonpier coming this week. I think that's it. So, Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
I'm tired. All right. I'm
hungry and tired.
8 show titles. Fast and Furious this week.
7 for me.
All right. As tradition dictates. Start with you.
Accidentally. Mysticality and Moxie.
That's good.
Fallout Problems. Next thing. Doing the trophy math, one's a chess, and welcome to TVGP.
Oh man,
welcome to TVGP was kind of a good moment.
Mysticality, and Moxie, and welcome to TVGP. I have they tried
541. Welcome to TVGP.
Yeah, I have they try to meme it. It may say spit on it, ... That Fallout moment, Fallout problems, the trophy math. I like you say, cause, English.
Oh, cause of the T thing?
Yeah, the T thing. I just like you were like, cause, English.
One word explains it all.
Yeah. Pacific Rim plus chess, Frogger Dark Souls. And then...
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Accidentally, Mysticality and Moxie, and welcome to TVGP. Frogger Dark Souls is pretty good.
Yeah. I'm torn between that, Accidentally, and Mysticality and Moxie.
I feel like Frogger Dark Souls is kind of a... That's a punchier title. Accidentally is alright. Mysticality and Moxie is pretty good.
Let's go Frogger Dark Souls then.
Yeah, that's the one that's pulling me the closest, the strongest to it. Get that SEO up there.
I'm trying to think of what I can actually say to this. There's not a whole lot for it.
No, it's a self-explanatory title for this one.
I never played Frogger.
Just the frog jumps across the street.
Oh, then... no, I got one. I got one.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 541 from March 5th, 2018. Frogger Dark Souls?
Prepare to leap. I have played Dark Souls.
There you go. You should play Frogger at some point. I bet there's like some Flash HTML5 version on there that you can play for the 5 minutes to go. Yeah, I get it.
I played the stupid Crossy Road. So
close enough. Yeah.
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 I did my due diligence.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching the live stream or watching the audio, watching the video, listening to Outcast.
It's been one of those days.
Yeah. Well, it was wherever you are, we're there. TVGP, trademark. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Bye.